All right, well, we'll go ahead and get started. Welcome to your third session. My name is Carrie Abood, and I'm an assistant professor here in the College of Education at Lipscomb University. Before I came here, I was a high school English teacher, a newspaper sponsor, high school soccer coach, fun things like that. So I'm going to talk to you today about Nearpod, which is an interactive presentation tool. We're going to start off, we're going to talk a little bit about what it is, why you should use it, and kind of what makes it awesome, what makes it worth looking into yet another educational technology. Now, what I would typically do is I would have a reflector on my own personal iPad, and I would be transitioning the slides for you right now. But because of the Wi-Fi firewalls at Lipscomb University, I can't really do that at the moment, so I'm going to have my lovely ETS person flick it for me. So go ahead and hit to the next slide. And as you'll notice on your screen, it's going to pop something up that says student. Go ahead and put your name in there, or if you don't want your actual name, really something, whatever you want, as long as it's appropriate. Lipscomb appropriate, I guess I should say. And then it should give you a thank you sign. And if you look on the screen, this is what the teacher would see. So I'm considered your teacher right now. I would be seeing the different people who are signing in. Give it just a little bit longer. And as some of you are already can tell, you can't go to the next page yet, can you? It's because I'm in charge. So, yeah. All right. 30 more seconds. So if this were my own iPad, which is typically what it would be, I would have my iPad right here, and I could see this. So I'm just projecting it for you all, what the teacher would be seeing right now. You all are seeing a thank you. Let's see. Okay, so go ahead and go to the next one. All right, so I'm going to let you all hit the play button on your YouTube video and watch a quick 2-minute video about Nearpod. So you can go ahead and do that. Don't blast anyone's eardrums with your volume control. Well, that's the exit button, yeah, so you don't want to exit. Same thing, yeah. No, you can't. The only thing you could do would be to exit my presentation. They could exit. They could. Yeah, they would have to enter the code to get back in. And if they enter the code, it'd go right back to wherever I am. Mm-hmm. All right, I'm starting to hear the video slow down, at least. Now, let's talk just a little bit about logistics with this. On the video, you notice that the inspiration behind those who created Nearpod was really this idea of this one-to-one classroom. So if you're in the situation where all of my students have devices, this is kind of an obvious, wow, this is really cool. But I want to go ahead and let you know that this can be done if you have 5 computers or 5 laptops in your classroom, or if you have 30 iPads. If you think about it, the way we just did this video right now, you could have small groups watching a video. You could have them all have their earbuds and listen to that quietly. Ideally, I would have told you to pop in your headphones so we didn't have to hear all of the different videos. Or you can do what I would have wanted to do, and myself as the teacher play it. You guys just sit tight and watch it as a whole group. So there are some different ways to be doing that. So Nearpod, the idea behind Nearpod, it is an interactive presentation tool. As teachers, it's very difficult, if not impossible, and this is coming from particularly a secondary situation, to get away from direct instruction with our students. It's not always going to be cooperative learning. It's not always going to be learning centers. It's not always going to be problem solving, inquiry-based learning, things like that. So this is a really great way to make your direct instruction interactive and a great way to do some formative assessment and collecting of data. If you'll go ahead and flick to the next slide. Thank you. So how it works. Step one, as the teacher, you're going to create or download an interactive multimedia presentation. This is where I think it's awesome because we all have the PowerPoints that we've already created, right? And we've tweaked, but kept them for the last 5 or 6 years, particularly if you're teaching the same grade, the same subject area. You don't want to create another presentation. Nearpod lets you download, or upload, I guess I should say, your already created PowerPoint presentations. And then it puts it on here. So I created this presentation on PowerPoint and uploaded my slides, and it made the Nearpod. It saves you a step, saves you time, saves you a Friday night. So you create or download it. You can create slides on Nearpod, but you can also just download pre-existing slides. Then you share your lesson with your students, and you can control them in real time. So I'm kind of controlling your devices right now by pacing the lesson. Students can't go any farther than I am right now. Someone noticed there is an arrow in the top right-hand corner. They can't exit the presentation, but if they do, either by accident or not accident, and you want them to get back in there, all they have to do is go back, join the session with your password, and it'll take them right back to wherever the teacher is. Your students can interact and submit responses through any mobile device or PC or Mac. And then as the teacher, I can monitor and measure student results on an individual or aggregate basis. For free, they provide a way for you to download the results of all these different gadgets I'm going to show you in just a second. And it allows you to keep that information, save it to an Excel spreadsheet, things like that. So for those of you who are always trying to keep up with those exit slips or pieces of note paper that are attached to your door, things like that, this is an electronic way of doing that. All right, if you'll go ahead next. So some benefits of Nearpod. One, you can engage with interactive multimedia in real time. So that's the teacher pace, which is what I'm doing. Or you can have the students do this at home for homework. I will go ahead and put my little asterisk point. The Nearpod that's free is teacher paced. If you want to pay $10 a month for Nearpod, or if your school buys it, you get both the teacher paced and the student paced, which means students can work through your presentation at their own pace at home. This is considered a live session, so I'm running the show, if that makes sense. But there is the capability for student paced as well. There is a limitation. I think it's quite a few, and I can actually at the end pull up that chart that tells you how many there are. But the free version allows up to 30 students, I believe, at one time, something like that, which is a pretty typical size classroom. Another benefit, you can monitor the classroom activity and control the pace of the lesson. Yes, they can exit, but for the vast majority of the time, I can know exactly what my students are looking at on the devices that they have in my classroom. You can collect and analyze both individual and aggregate data. There are already free, ready-to-use lessons and created presentations online on nearpod.com. So once you create a free Nearpod account, you can go online and look at all of the presentations that have already been created and that are free for downloading, all sorts of topics. This is also a great benefit for distance learning, so students could join your session from anywhere. If you have a live session going on and you have a student that may be home or maybe not able to be in the classroom with you right at that moment, they can join the session and interact with you and the other students. And the greatest thing, I think, is that it's multi-platform. So you can do this on any kind of device. It's a cross-platform. Chromebooks, Windows, Android services, Nooks, PCs, Macs, all your smartphones, and things like that. All right, go ahead. So what makes it awesome, in my opinion? What are some of the really cool things? And to me, what makes it awesome is the ability to interact. So we're going to just play with some of the tools, and then towards the end, I'm going to give you a chance to ask some questions or give me some feedback about what else you need to know about Nearpod. All right, so go ahead to the next one. So this one is a free write. Go ahead and write the name of your favorite teacher. And if you notice, if you're on a tablet, you can use your finger. You can change the color. If you're on a PC or Mac, you can use your, I don't even know what that's called anymore. You know, mouse, finger mouse. I know, I'm already moving on to write things. Hey, that's my name. Mrs. Lee, Miss Polk. Mrs. Moore, Mrs. Jacobs. So you can see there's a little bit of a lag time for when you submit, but it pops up fairly quickly. For all the people who are using this network right now, I'm pretty proud of it. So that's a free write gadget or a free drawing gadget. So you could have them draw a picture. You could have your students write in something. And remember, what you are doing does not have to be publicly viewed by all the other students in the classroom. I'm doing this simply so you can see it. But you could be projecting this for your students to see, or you could just have it on your own personal device. And what's popping up is completely private between you and the student and whoever's hacking into your internet, I guess. I should say that. Okay, any problems with that one? All right, go ahead and go to the next one. A different gadget. Describe this favorite teacher in 3 words. So, going back to what you wrote the first time. Another free text. So this one is not so much about the drawing as it is about actual text typing. Yes, ma'am. Free packet. Everything we're doing today is part of the free packet. That is a great question. I do not pay money for Nearpod. I don't pay money for a lot of things, but I do not pay money for Nearpod. So you can also see up in the top as the teacher, you can see what percentage of students have completed it, what percentage you're still waiting on. Can you scroll up and down for me just a little bit so we can see everybody? Yeah. Some good descriptive terms too. As the English teacher, I'm already thinking about, what if I'd said 3 adjectives and then you see something, you see an adverb up there and you're like, okay, let's pause, let's talk about this. What's another word? Very good. And again, if you're not in a one-to-one classroom, maybe you have one iPad in a small group of 3 or 4 and they're collaborating together and they're working together to do this. Okay, go ahead, next one. Now color a picture for that favorite teacher. What's fun is it'll actually upload your little individual pictures up here in a second. Now we don't have time for you to get super creative, but feel free to color for a minute. Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so probably what happened is you submitted it before. No, I hit return and then I hit submit. So they were on 3 different lines, but only one answer showed up at the same. Gotcha. I think the best answer would be we'd have to go and download that and see if they all 3 showed up or if not. And then that would be a great teacher direction for your students. Don't hit return, make a comment. Yeah. or may hit a comma instead. Oh, you guys are artistes. I see. Beautiful. Yes, ma'am.
Did you do all your creation on the computer?
I did.
Okay.
Mhm.
Does it allow create on an iPad
It does. More difficult
for the teacher?
for the teacher. Great.
I've never tried it. That's
Yeah.
the reason I'm asking.
Yeah, that's another great question that's being asked about as the teacher create. Oh, look at all of these. This is wonderful. I created this presentation on my PC. I think there is a way for you to actually create it on your iPad, but the formatting and the space and things like that, that's more difficult. So creating it on your PC or Mac is the best way to do that, and then you can show it through your iPad or through your device.
After they submit it, and if you see something you're not, you want them to go back and edit, are you able to do that?
Yes, I could go back to that slide. So I could go backwards and say, okay, let's resubmit a couple of things.
Okay.
These are just lovely. I have not tried anything. Okay. All right, go ahead and go to the next one. Okay, so here's a quiz for you. Hopefully I made this pretty easy. What is a benefit of using Nearpod? Interactive presentations, free, can be used across class platforms. All of the above are benefits. Yeah, good.
No, mine hasn't gone to the next.
It hasn't let me do it.
It has not let you do the thing yet?
This is from
It's still, yeah, mine still says that from the picture.
Okay. I have found sometimes, we love technology, so it'll get stuck, and the best thing that I have found with that is to exit the presentation and then re-log in, or re-put in the password, the session code. It looks like some people have been able to get in there, right? Okay, good. And again, this would be, in my opinion, one of those things where you would not be showing the classroom who's getting the quiz right, who's getting it wrong. For me, it depends on how many students are logged in, where you are, things like that. Your bandwidth and those things. My husband and I were playing with it last night. He was going through it, and it was like automatic. I hit the slide, and then it popped up on his. And it seems to be going fairly quickly for you guys, too.
If one of the kids does exit out, does it drop their name and they're gone?
Ooh, that's a good question. We may have to play with that in a second and see what happens. Okay. All right, go ahead and hit the next slide. We're done. And here is just my formative assessment for you. Will you go home tonight and create a Nearpod presentation? Yeah. I did have fun with the answer choices here. Go Cats. No judgment if you don't like the Wildcats. That's one of the benefits of being the teacher. Or being a Wildcats fan, yes. All right, and just for the sake of time, go ahead and go to the last one. And then I went back to the free write this time. Write one question or comment you have about Nearpod, and since we are out of time, several of you have asked some questions which are great. Are there any other questions or comments you may have about this program? Free. If you want to do the paid version, it kind of tells you about what you get as the upgrade to it. As far as how do I create an account, you literally just go to nearpod.com, create an account, and then it'll allow you to browse the free lessons. It'll allow you to create presentations, but your students don't have to have a Nearpod account to be the student in your session. All right, all they had to do was go to it, join the session that you gave the code for, and they were able to play. Okay. Any other questions or comments?
So
That's okay too. No, you're the only one.
When you're downloading stuff, I mean, are the instructions on how to put things on and do it easy enough?
Very easy. Very easy. I never had any training on Nearpod myself. I just went, it says, add an image here, add text here. If you're creating a quiz, add a question here. Which one's correct on your quiz? So to me, it's very straightforward. And I love the fact that you can go ahead and upload pre-existing presentations or PowerPoints to Nearpod. Last question.
So my question here was, does it keep track of these questions and create automatic data?
Yes.
It does.
Yes, it does create. So you could, once you have an account, it'll say create, present, things like that, and it'll say report, and then that's where you would go and you would.
Pull up, how many chose this and whatever.
It will. And if you do an upgrade, there is like a better report system, but for the free one, you get that too. All right, thank you very much. I'll be around for a few minutes if you have any other questions.